Hello traders, welcome to today's market update. It is the start of a new week once again. I hope you all had a great weekend and I hope you're ready to smash this week of trading. So as always, please do hit that like button, hit subscribe if you've not done so already, and we'll get straight into the analysis here. So let's start off with Bitcoin and then we're going to go and have a look at Ethereum. We'll take a little look at the S&P 500, the Nasdaq and the DXY, and I'll see what else I fancy throwing in there before we get to the end of the video. So let's start off here with Bitcoin, and what a move it's had recently. You remember if we were when we were talking last week, the last time I really did an update was the live stream, I think on Thursday. I did a little update on Friday as well, and the crew will all be very aware. We were either looking for a nice little range just to hang out down at the lows, and this is the kind of thing we were trading. It was like the short move down as we were within this area, keeping this range going was like the easier thing to trade. Okay, so we were looking at like little kind of local price action, but I did say, and I said this very, very clearly, if price moves up from the point that we are here, and this is at the region when we were just down here at like 19,400. Okay, if price does squeeze up, it is going to be pretty insane because all we had above it was that point of control. And the fact that we've only just dipped down below, that was literally the only level of significance above us. And if you break through that, you are going all the way up to the top of the range. And that is where we have found ourselves right now, back up at the value area high of the range. And this actually being really, really significant. So we're still just trading this as a range. You've had a big deviation up at the highs here. Okay, you come back down. You can't hold the POC, a little dip below, and then we're right the way back up to the value area high. So for myself, I am now hedged in a short position. Now I am allowing this wiggle room. Okay, it's not really the kind of thing where I'm saying, okay, there's a big invalidation on this and I'm going to close out. This is just for me scaling out of those Bitcoin positions, the long positions that I had managed to accumulate down at the lows, and just going hedged into a short just to protect that dollar value basically at this stage, because there is a scenario that we're looking at. And if I do go over onto this page, this is the scenario that I drew up halfway through last week before we even had the squeeze up. I was like, okay, if we are going to get a move up, it is going to be big. And you can actually have a look. I'm just going to open up the Discord here. So for those of you who are in the crew, you'll be well aware of this idea that we were looking at on the 8th of September. Okay, so I was saying there, taking a deeper look into what's going on here, I feel we may get a max pain scenario similar to this. Okay, and we were looking at that squeeze up, a big short squeeze up, which takes out that local range high, comes in to that 618 golden pocket speed fan that's coming down, because we've seen how well this has been reacting on each of these lows. I don't have it on this chart, but it was reacting well on each of these lows, and it's reacted well on Ethereum recently. So this has been a really nice region to be looking at. And we also knew that the value area high was up there, and so on. And then scaling on through this, okay, we had a couple of examples when price started to move up to within that region. Where was it? Okay, look, price was here earlier on today, and just look at how accurate that is, where we have that high that came in yesterday overnight, like perfectly, and I haven't moved these lines at all into that region that we were looking at, taking out those highs. Now we have squeezed up a little bit higher since then. Okay, you can see here on the daily update sheet everything that I'm talking about today, and we can see now that we're around about that value area high on the range. So this is something very important to be aware of. Just as we're here, okay, the key events for this week. Okay, so we did have the UK GDP stuff today. Tomorrow is CPI, so I think tomorrow could be a very pivotal day within the market. I think that is something that you've got to be paying keen attention to. So that will happen 1 hour before the New York Open tomorrow morning for those of you in America, or tomorrow afternoon lunchtime for us in Europe. Later on in the week, we do have the UK CPI, PPI, RPI, and the USA PPI. So again, we're looking at volatility likely tomorrow. We're looking at the same thing again on Wednesday. Going into Thursday, I mean, and Friday, it's not so important, but Friday afternoon, I think just after that New York Open, where you do have preliminary consumer sentiment and inflation expectations coming in. But pay keen attention to the first, well, tomorrow and Wednesday, because that's when we do have some potential large things within the market. But anyway, going back to this idea, this is what I did draw last week. This, promise you, not moved at all. Okay, now we've ended up a little bit higher up here. I have added on the 6.6 speed fan just to show that we were within a region of potential distribution here. And if we do start to break down, I do think it could be quite a big one, okay? So you often see this happen, this being just the big short squeeze. We had a bear trap. Is this going to be a bull trap? Are we going to see a big move down again here? Now, I'm not sure about that. And I'm going to go back over onto this chart, because if we can hold, and at the moment for myself, that 21,600 region, just below that daily open, we have an important region here, with it being the weekend POC, the previous day point of control. If we can start to form a range here, and maybe we come up to the 618, maybe we drop down and we start to form a range, I would be looking for continuation higher. And we do have some nice confluence above us, okay? So we've got this region here. This is where I'm hedging into a short position. I do expect it at the very least to sort of form some kind of range. Is that a bull flag? Is that going to lead you to higher prices? We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. And there's going to be plenty of stuff that we can trade in between now and when we see a bit more information here. But we do have the 702 that's coming up at the daily level. Now that's significant. That's the day that we dropped down, and we do have the 786 coming here. Just at that point when price started to break down and break through this market structure, this would basically be the full kind of retrace of that whole move, another deviation at the highs, and potentially looking at more of a drop back into the range here. So at the moment, it is an uptrend. It is to be treated as an uptrend, and you can trade longs cautiously on this, because I do think if it pulls back, it's likely to be quite a quick move, and you don't want to get trapped into long positions up at the value area high. That would be very silly. So do be aware, it is an uptrend. You can trade it as such. Local price action, you see those little movements where, I mean, there's one that I can show you in just a moment where there has been a fantastic long opportunity already today. And yeah, but overall just in that hedged short. So I'll go over the long. Okay, because we have had a long trade already. Who can guess it? Let's see. Let's just wait a few moments. Does anyone know? This is not a live video, but pause the video for a moment. Where was that low? Okay, you whack the VWAP onto your chart. There it is. Really, really nice. Now, of course, on the derivatives, that was a slight front run, but if you do go over onto other things, then you came into it really nicely. So depending on what chart you're looking at, the VWAP was hit really well earlier on today, and it had a bounce that has taken out all of the highs here, and you can see it again here on the volume chart that I'm looking at, that just move into it, that immediate reaction as you come into the VWAP region, and then just launched it back above, basically taking out all the highs again. So really, really good move from Bitcoin earlier on today. That, as we are in this uptrend, has given us a nice long opportunity here. Now, as an SFP of the highs, this again locally, really, really good opportunity to take a short. Okay, we have seen this morning that there has been some very, very aggressive movement in price today. Okay, and I'm going to just, again, we're going a little bit back and forth here, but bear with me. I'm going to move you over onto this FTX chart, where FTX were going a little crazy earlier on. Okay, you can see as price came up overnight here, that was a massive drop off in open interest. This was a big liquidation run. This was a big kind of just spike up, taking out the highs, stop a load of people out, consolidate, and at this point they started to initiate massive market buys going up, and this was consistent across FTX. You can also look at Binance here, and it was very much consistent there. So a coordinated, not a coordinated attack, but a coordinated move across the exchange as you come into the week to go, we are going to repel away from value. This is something you see so often. You'll repel away from value, you'll drop it back down, and at this point, this has been the opportunity. Whoops, what have I done here? This has been the opportunity in which to close out of the positions that you were holding from the previous week, and now, in my opinion, this is now looking more like a distribution where price is being forced up. So short-term pain, very expensive in order to push price up here, because you've seen massive open interest. You're seeing that on heavy positive delta. Okay, so it costs a lot of money in order to push the price up this high, but the potential reward for that is massive. So you're looking at, what, 2% of a move up? The amount of capital that it takes to get price moved up. If you can fill those limit short positions within that region, and you are looking at maybe a 10, 15, 20% move to the downside, that short-term pain as a market maker would be well worth it. So that's the main thing that I'm looking at again here, is that you've had this short-term pain of squeezing out as many of those long positions as possible, aiming for the highs and aiming around that that golden pocket region, that 618. and then potentially looking at a bigger distribution that would send us back down, potentially down towards those lows here. Okay, so we're looking at that short-term pain in order for that longer-term gain off of this. However, okay, that's just, again, one of the scenarios. That is why I'm hedged, because that is something that you need to be well aware of. But you still have to trade it as an uptrend, and I'm still very much open to, if we do start to hold as a range here and we start to continue, then I will be very happy to close out of that hedge and just allow those long positions, allow that spot value just to increase as we look up towards 28, 29, 30k again. If we do break through this region, I think that's very likely. You would have the potential of an SFP of the highs up here, but I do think if you can break through this area, you almost, I mean, it's very likely that you form a trending move up towards about 28, 29k. So that's Bitcoin. Not going to do any more on that. So that's the bullish and the bearish scenario potential that we do have on the charts right now. Moving on now onto Ethereum. I think this is a bit of a nicer chart. So I'll just scale this in, and just to give you guys an idea, I'm not going to do quite as much on this one, but what Ethereum's doing, it's holding its value. Like obviously the BTC pair is pulling back quite significantly, but it is holding this value, whoops, again, above the previous highs, okay, and way above the value area high here as well. So if we are looking at another push higher, what we have is nice confluence around that 1845 region. So you've got your daily order block up there. You do have your fib expansions here. So as price came down from your low to your high back into that golden pocket, the 702 once again, 702 being really nice recently, and then that can give you that move up to looking towards the 1.15 or the 618 off of this before looking at another pullback. And then lower down we have the confluence here at 15.58 of the POC and another significant daily level. So something along these lines is what I would potentially be looking at on Ethereum. If Bitcoin's going to go into a distribution, if Ethereum's going to have a bounce here on the BTC pair, then something like this would not be out of the question, okay? So again, potential scenario that I am looking at playing out on Ethereum here. Going over onto the, let's take a look at the DXY first of all. This is, I'm just keeping it very simple, okay? I was looking at a pullback. We broke the parabolic advance. We came back into a 1 hour order block. So again, if I show you this here, there was your break of market structure. Okay, you can see here high, low, break of structure formed that order block as price could not get back above. Price comes down, loses those 20-year highs, gets a nice bounce. Surprise, surprise, where was it once again? Into that golden pocket, the 618 region. And then we do get that further pullback. Now I am looking at 107 here on the DXY, and I think that that's likely to come in again around this week. So if we can get a further pullback from the DXY, at the very least taking out these lows here, I would imagine, then again I would be looking at that rally from the DXY, which would pull back across all the other assets. So again, we'll see if we can get that. For the time being, I do think that we see a little bit of stability here on the DXY because it has pulled back quite a lot already. And that's likely to give us a bit more kind of range bound behavior. If Bitcoin can fall into a range here, start to either go into a distribution or a reaccumulation, and that gives the DXY a little bit of wiggle room just to kind of float its way down into this region before we can look at a big rally. And again, that's where you're likely to see those pullbacks across the rest of the markets. The S&P 500, the main resistance that I have on my chart is this monthly level, okay, so 4,130. I am still expecting that to get hit, so I am looking again further upside on this. Bitcoin leading the way, I would say, but again, if Bitcoin forms into a range here and falls into a range around this area, maybe slightly higher at that 618, then there's no reason why you can't see the SPX coming into this region of resistance and doing a similar thing before potentially pulling back as the DXY gets that bounce. Nasdaq, again, going over onto the Nasdaq here, we were looking for a move up towards the daily level. We have got that move up towards the daily level, and at this stage you've taken liquidity at the high and you've just got a very big region above here. So the Nasdaq, the SPX, a little bit easier to read, okay, because we've searched deeper into this, and you've got these previous support areas that are potentially turning into resistance. The Nasdaq's not quite the same, okay, it's got a little bit further that it needs to go before it really kind of reaches into this significant resistance. So once again, expecting a bit more further upside on the S&P and expecting that bit more further upside on the Nasdaq here. Anything else we want to have a look at? We can just quickly look at Apple. Came so close. So the 0.5 was the target off of this short position. Now I'm not really, I mean, I'm still holding a tiny bit, just in case. It'd be very nice to be like, that's where I shorted, this is where I closed, perfectly hit. But at this stage, honestly, I've taken like almost all the profit that I could possibly want off of this. As we came into the 382, was taking profit because we came so close the other day and had that partial fill. Taking profit again on here. So yeah, very, very happy with this Apple short trade, and I would not be surprised at all to see that continue to rally again at this stage. Looking at the Euro USD, so that finally hit that target again, so I've closed out of this one. So from the harmonic that we had back here, again, you form a range. So this is very much standard. You don't have to have an immediate reaction once these harmonic patterns do form. You drop into a range. We had that spring at the lows, and that gave us enough to reach that target finally on the Euro USD. GBP USD, so I was drawing this last week. So again, if we go over, do I have it on my Discord? I definitely posted it on Twitter as well. So this was what we were looking at again over here on GBPUSD. Saw high volume today, but held despite the news. Obviously, rest in peace, Her Majesty the Queen. Very sad times. I don't really know how to explain that on video, but yeah, obviously difficult times for the country, difficult times for the currency. Managed to hold up quite well despite all of the news, and I was looking for relief here on the GBP pair because it's been hammered recently. Honestly, it's been completely hammered, and we were getting that move. So again, we saw that breakout that happened on the Friday, I think on the 9th, so we were looking at this move on the 8th. We got that move out of this, the breakout on the 9th, and now today we can see well on our way here up towards this target. Now again, if the DXY starts to bounce, I don't think this has that much time to really reach these higher targets, but you could expect some kind of range to form, and then if we do get that final relief, then we're looking still at that $1.19, $1.20 basically region as a target for the GBP here, as it gets a move up before it's in a very like big downtrend overall. So I would expect this to then drop later on, but I do think relief from the GBP and relief from the euro is to be expected a little bit more. Gold, finally, I'll just quickly note onto this. Gold, so close. I still do expect it to come down and take out all of these lows here between around 1,680 down towards 1,660 on here. So I am still looking for that on gold. I do have all my alerts set down here. And at that point, that's when I would look to take a trade. Perfect trade for myself would be if we can get quite a deep move down from this into that weekly level, and then that would give a nice opportunity. And then again, you could get that kind of thing. Yeah, you get a nice bounce off of that, you go in to make your lower high, and then you reverse it. So that's ideally what I'm looking for on gold. Just quickly as well, so I do want to just mention this before I wrap things up, that the reason obviously that we are talking more about all of the legacy markets at the moment is because even if you are in crypto, these are still very, very much tradable. Now, let me just go on to the Twitter over here, and you can see, is it on Twitter? Do I have it over here? Now I'll bring up the Discord again. You know what? Let's do it over this. So if you are interested in trading any of these assets at all, then we have partnered with PrimeXBT. Okay, so PrimeXBT are a really, really good exchange, a legitimate exchange. They've been around for years. Okay, absolutely safe. I use them myself for trading more so Forex markets, trading the commodities, trading the indices, but using crypto as collateral. So I still use my USDT over there, and yeah, it's a really nice exchange to be using on that. They have just announced that they are doing 0 fees, no trading fees on all legacy markets. So that's gold, silver, oil, Forex, S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the FTSE 100, all of these legacy markets. They are 0 fees there until the end of this month. Okay, so you can go onto our Discord and you can find out more information about that. And of course, if you do click the link that is in the description below this video, using our promo codes, then you can get a 7% deposit bonus. So that means if you deposit 10k into the account, you will receive $700 of tradable equity on there, and you can also get 25% off of fees where there are fees applied. So if you do want to trade crypto over on PrimeXBT as well, there are still fees that are applicable for that, but for now, really nice offer. Okay, 0 fees on all traditional markets over on PrimeXBT. So even if you are in the crypto universe, which we all are, then you can use your USDT, you can use your Ethereum, you can use your Bitcoin, you can use your USDC, all as collateral in order to trade some of the markets, such as gold, such as the S&P 500, such as the Euro USD, all over on that one exchange. So I would thoroughly recommend that. They're a really good exchange, and yeah, they've got some pretty good offers at the moment. Fee-free trading is always a good thing. So on that note, I am going to wrap things up. I don't really think there's anything else I want to go over on this. I'm probably going to do a video on altcoins later on this week, because even if we are to see more downside, I think we're coming to that stage where we can likely see some of the bigger players, some of the better players within the bear market start to continue their rallies. So even if Bitcoin does continue to pull back, I think life is coming back into the market somewhat. We've gone through the summer, and if crypto goes down, there will still be assets that do go up. So there are a few very particular altcoins that I'm looking at for basically bear market plays that I think can perform really well. The likes of, like, if you think back to the last cycle, like how well Link did during a bear market, that kind of thing. So the new breed, what I'm looking at as potential plays going into the rest of the bear market and into the next cycle, where hopefully we do at one day, some stage, end up seeing that 100k BTC and that 10k ETH. Those are the obviously the big targets, but that's a long way away from really discussing that. But yeah, enough rambling on for myself. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you would like to know any more information about the crew, then please do go check out tauruscrypto.com. Okay, you can see the website's had a little bit of an update here, the nice charts in the background. I've done a bit of work on this. I'm still learning how to make websites, so it needs a bit more work, but you can get the crew membership. We do obviously have some nice offers here on the 3-month and the annual, and also if you are already a member of the crew and you do have a friend that is interested in signing up, then once again we do have a new referral offer that is available for everyone. So both you and your friend will receive 2 weeks of free membership if they purchase any crew membership there, and you also get a 20% discount coupon that can be used in any crew membership plans and also on the one-to-one sessions. Okay, so do give us a message over on the Discord there if you are interested in using this current offer, the Taurus referrals that we do currently have as an offer for basically anyone that is in the crew and anyone that would like to join the crew. So yeah, thank you, everybody. I know I've said that like 10 times in this video already, but that'll do for me. I'm going to stop talking. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Cheers. Bye.